fashionably known as I Like Papaya on TikTok, and also the owner of SIMPLYBEWITCHEDCO. So today's video is just going to be a channel introduction. I'll try to keep it really short, really sweet. I really just wanted to go over a little bit about me and my path. Starting a channel, I really wanted to kind of join this platform as well, just as a means to connect more. And I think this is a really great platform just for longer, more informative educational videos, as opposed to the more haha funny videos that I do over on TikTok. So let's get started. How long have I been a witch? The official answer that I like to give people is around 4 to 5 years, but it really kind of varies depending on at what point in my practice I technically started considering what I was doing witchcraft. But 4 to 5 is usually what I consider to be when I became a practicing witch. When did I first realize I was a witch? There wasn't really a big moment where I was just like, I woke up and I was like, yeah, today's the day I'm gonna be a witch. But if I was to look back at myself 2 to 3 years from now, what I was doing, I would not have called it witchcraft. I don't think I would have called myself a witch. I don't think the practice that I had, I don't think I considered that witchcraft at the time. There were a lot of little things over like the years that led me kind of like down the rabbit hole that is witchcraft. The fun, the cute, the sweet, and simple answer that I like to say is I became a witch the day that I started to show self-care and love to myself. And when I started doing that, I started kind of living for myself, and then I kind of found my way into my path that way. What led me to my path? Like I said, there wasn't really a particular thing. It was kind of like a domino effect. I grew up in a not strict religious household. I was very, very fortunate to have a household setting that was very open-minded with regards to exploration with spirituality and religion. I was also really fortunate to grow up in a setting where I was surrounded by a lot of different cultures. But I think it was a combination of learning about spirituality. At the time, my mother had been taking like spirituality. Well, early on, my mother had been taking a lot of spirituality classes at her college. And at the same time, I was also learning about philosophy. So I think collectively that kind of like started the spiral. And at the time, I think I was just very interested, and I was left with a lot of questions about the ambivalence of life and wanting to know more. And in terms of spirituality and religion, like many people, I think I was just drawn in by, wanting more from life and wanting to experience more, wanting to learn more about everything that I could. And so on a more serious note, I think during my formative years this was happening. I struggled a lot with the mundane aspects and the uncontrollable nature of life. So I was really looking for a way to take back control. So for a while I considered myself an atheist. That didn't quite fit. I read into and I studied a little bit about Buddhism. Then that led me kind of into the more modern day Western spirituality. And I think that really brought in a lot of new concepts to me that I still use today in my practice. And then in 2017, and sorry, I feel like I'm slightly like shifting more and more every like so often. There's like a really big shadow, so I'm trying to avoid that. At around 2017 or 2018, the universe just like really slapped me. That was really loud. Really slapped me with a full-on spiritual awakening. It was a very low point in my life, and at this point I can smile about it because I had a lot of growth and development from that phase of my life, and I will always be grateful for it. But boy, was it a tough time for me. It was probably like one of the lowest points that I've ever experienced in my life. And I think a lot of people experience that during their spiritual awakenings. I was very fortunate enough to be able to push through with the support of the people around me, therapists, psychiatrists, life coaches, mentors that were all there to kind of help me, guide me through that portion of my life. And I remember feeling at some point that I had learned everything that I needed to learn, or did everything, all the necessary steps that came from, the external parts of me. And I felt really drawn to do inner work on myself, to do some internal changes. I realized at that point in time, I really needed to learn how to take accountability for myself and my own well-being. I felt like I really needed to take an active part in healing myself. And that kind of in a way correlates back to like sort of a lack of control that I was feeling like in the earlier years of my life. And I also think at that point I was seeking to live life a little bit more holistically. And I really wanted to just feel more in tune to the world around me. On from that very lengthy answer, onto something a little bit more lighter. What does life as a witch look like for me? me, I am very much what I describe myself to be as a lazy witch. Yes. So I'm very, very, very big on just like doing practical magic. I remember at the beginning of my practice, I thought it was going to be very ritual heavy, very ceremonial magic heavy based, but not at all, not at all. A lot of hearth, a lot of household magic, and yeah, just practical stuff. I rarely only do spells, only if I have to. I like to incorporate things into my everyday life. At this point, I do a lot of leisurely, just like reading. I'm a pretty curious person, so I just read whenever I have like some free time, and just usually only in topics that I'm like pretty interested in at the moment. So how would I describe my path? Solitary practitioner, practical magic, eclectic, but with a strong influence in Hellenic and hoodoo practices. Ooh, strong influence in terms of doing lunar magic, in terms of womb healing, and in terms of doing elemental magic as well. So working with the elements. I don't know if it's like actually a descriptive, but I'm also very like location based. So I work like really closely with just the materials that I have like within my particular location, which is Michigan. So like a lot of hag stones from Lake Superior, collecting rocks from lakes and rivers just in my natural surroundings. I rarely nowadays like try to buy things for like my altar or my practice. I'm really big on just like utilizing the tools that nature is giving to me at hand. Okay, last but not least, what's with the YouTube channel? I feel like I already talked about this a bit at the beginning, but just to expand on that, I'm really trying hard this year to make a lot more meaningful connections with the people around me, whether that's in person or virtual. So I'm putting a lot more of an effort into that and trying out different means as a way to do that. But generally speaking, I think I really wanted to share my path, share my journey, share what I consider to be a little bit of knowledge and tips, heck, even mistakes, and hopefully that doing so, you know, I can look back at it, I can see how I've grown, I can share that with you guys, so hopefully you don't have to go through the same thing I have, and being the resource that I kind of wish that I had for myself, for you guys, and for anyone who is just in general interested about me or my spiritual journey. So yeah, that's it. That's a little bit about me. That's a little bit about my path, my background, my experience as a witch. Thanks so much for tuning in. I do think I'll try to upload videos every Sunday, but stay tuned to that for if that changes. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you next time.